Like the cream in the middle of an Oreo, possibility lives at the intersection of two opposing forces, or in this case, two chocolate cookies. In this strange but delicious analogy, the two cookies are opposites or tension pairings. What I have always loved about an Oreo is not the cookies, but the cream. So what exactly is this tension that draws, say, good and evil together? What interests me is the area where the ampersand sits. I am talking about the sliver of the in-between, the gray area, the axis point, the rub of that delicious sticky stuff, because I think that magnetism is where growth happens. So even as I am a cream-loving optimist, why do I perpetually feel like Luke Skywalker slowly being squashed in the garbage masher on the detention level when I find myself in the middle of tension pairings, good and bad, tyranny and democracy, struggle and strategy, love and indifference, sweet and sour, chaos and order, better and worse, abundance and scarcity, dissonance and harmony. So much of life is uncertain, impermanent, constantly changing, annoyingly uncontrollable. So, can we learn to sit with the unknown and be still until something constructive takes shape? If being still is impossible, can we employ some active mindfulness, practice breathing, do a tense and release exercise, do a quick body scan and try to name what we are feeling? As the saying goes, we grow through what we go through. So can we? We grow resilience through learning to tolerate discomfort, and we are eventually rewarded with problem solving and the building of character. If we accept tension unconditionally as a condition of life, will that make life a tiny bit easier? Instead of moaning about our discomfort, can we learn to sit with it, and will that make the waiting any easier? Rather than avoid the feelings of discomfort, maybe we can actively practice what brain scientist Dr. Jill Bolte Taylor calls the 90-second rule. Taylor's studies reveal when a person has a reaction to something in their environment, there's a 90-second chemical process that happens in the body. After that, any remaining emotional response is just the person choosing to stay in that emotional loop. So, if we are feeling uncomfortable, stay with it, breathe through it, name the feeling, and trust there is growth on the other side of it. And if nothing else, in 90 seconds, there can be a different emotion, mood, or thought if we let the process move through us. Avoiding, resisting, not naming it, and you get pulverized in the rehashing of it. But we are just not trained to do this anymore. What used to be a natural process of maturation is no longer supported by the instant gratification of today's digital age. My 18-year-old daughter explained discomfort to me this way, verbatim. I literally took notes on my notes app because I knew I was receiving something very wise, and that she might just be writing the end of my article for me. Nobody has to be uncomfortable anymore, Mom, she said. If I don't want to watch what's happening in Ukraine, I can just change the channel or swipe it away and watch something fun. I don't even have to be inconvenienced anymore because I don't ever have to wait in a line. I can just go to self-checkout. I don't even have to go to the grocery anymore. I can just tap a couple of keys and groceries are delivered to my door. Obviously, there are good conveniences in the modern age, but convenience is leaking into where it doesn't belong. We can't convenience away struggle. Struggle builds character. I know. I nearly fell over at how succinctly my daughter described the tension of the modern age, the tension of convenience. And my girl has struggled. And though it pained me, I tried not to rescue her from her discomfort, and she didn't get squashed. She actually thrives in the in-between, comfortable now, for the most part, with the unanswered questions. For my part, I still find adulting hard, sitting with the unknown, excruciating, especially as it pertains to my children. No exaggeration. I have to recite the Piece of Wild Things to myself often, especially Wendell Berry's line, I come into the peace of wild things who do not tax their lives with forethought of grief, and I do my best to be in the moment, to resist forecasting doom. I have to actively work to invite the discomfort of fear to pass through me. I try, and then try again to sit with it. My hope for you, my hope for myself, is to resist the crush of the garbage masher of life and to sit with it, name it, and sometimes get the reward on the other side of the struggle, the creamy goodness of growth. Does anybody else have a hankering for an Oreo? Pass the milk.